Hi there. I want to show you how you can maximize the most important part of your body. The most important part of your body is your prefrontal cortex. Your prefrontal cortex, this part of your brain. Why? Is the part of your body responsible for focus, attention, planning, foresight, intuition, learning, appropriateness of behavior, executive decision making, self-control, empathy, calm, trustworthiness, name it. It's the part of your body responsible for. Guess what? It's the part of your body that separates you from an animal. Animals don't have a prefrontal cortex. That's why they can't take intelligent decisions like us. Animals have the second and third brain, but they don't have this part of the brain. That's what separates us from any mammal. Chimpanzees, lions, tigers, hyenas, all of them. Cows, goats, lambs, all of them. That's the first thing. The second thing I want to say about your prefrontal cortex is that, do you know that it's the last part of your body to develop? It's the last part of your body to fully develop. It develops fully at the age of 20. Hi there. Would you like to break limiting patterns in your life? Would you like to discontinue habits and build new habits? Would you like to have a positive mindset? Would you like to increase your proactivity, stop procrastination, strengthen your willpower? I'm facilitating a class on reprogramming the subconscious and building discipline. In those two classes, you'll be able to find the tools, necessary tools to achieve these things and make these things possible. You see, I'm a testimony to the things I'm going to be teaching at these programs. I was able to use some of these tools to beat depression. I overcame suicidal thoughts and tendencies using these tools. I've been able to form new habits and build an amazing pattern of achieving great things in my life. Now, I was able to use some of these tools to memorize 14 books of the Bible. I was able to use some of these tools to overcome my addiction to football, to overcome an addiction to sugar and carbonated soft drinks. And I'm inviting you to take part in this training. In this training, you will learn these tools and you'll be able to create the life you want. Scan the link in the description and I look forward to seeing you. Do have an amazing day and bye for now. 6. That's why it's not good to take major decisions of your life before 26, like getting married, taking major decisions concerning your career. It's always good to explore, before that. So those are two major things. So let's go on to how we can maximize our prefrontal cortex. Two major ways to maximize your prefrontal cortex. First of all, your prefrontal cortex responds or comes alive, is activated by positive emotions. Positive emotions, not just emotions, or positive emotions. So let me give you an example. Now, the brain is divided into the thinking brain and the feeling brain. The prefrontal cortex is the thinking brain, but behind that is the feeling brain. So that's where you have your limbic system. Now, let me show you how the brain works. When your feeling brain comes alive, your thinking brain shuts down. Now, the feeling brain is activated primarily by negative emotions, so anger, fear. So let me give you an example. When people get angry, they take irrational decisions. Why? Because when the feeling brain comes alive, the thinking brain shuts down. So when people are angry, the feeling brain comes alive. And then when the feeling brain comes alive, the thinking brain shuts down and they take irrational decisions. So Will Smith gets angry, slaps Chris Rock. Zidane gets angry, headbutts Materazzi. Tyson gets angry, bites Holyfield's ear, and so on and so forth. So it's because when the feeling brain comes alive, the thinking brain shuts down. And negative emotions activate the feeling brain that shuts down the prefrontal cortex or the thinking brain. All right. For more on this, you could read Behave, a great book authored by Robert Sapolsky, professor of neuroscience at Stanford University, Robert Sapolsky. But let me go on. So positive emotions light up the prefrontal cortex the same way negative emotions light up the feeling brain. I hope you understand that they work inversely against each other. They work against each other. So when one comes alive, the other shuts down and vice versa. All right. The second thing you can do to activate, for example, let me give you an example. When you are empathetic, empathy is a positive emotion. When you're empathetic, your prefrontal cortex comes alive. You begin to think of better ways to help people, better ways to make society better, because positive emotions activate your prefrontal cortex. Let's take fear, for example. Fear is a negative emotion. So when people are afraid, they make more mistakes when they're afraid. When people are afraid, they make more mistakes. When people are stressed, they make more mistakes, whether it's teachers, surgeons, and so on. So those negative emotions like stress, fear, anger, they shut down the prefrontal cortex. And that's why when people entertain those emotions, they don't perform their best, because their prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for planning, attention, focus, executive decision making, impulse control, foresight, learning, empathy, calm, trustworthiness. The prefrontal cortex is responsible. The prefrontal cortex is responsible for those tasks. And when your feeling brain comes alive, that part shuts down. Now, the second thing you can do to activate your prefrontal cortex, the most important part of your brain and your body, is to do difficult tasks. Difficult tasks strengthen the prefrontal cortex. The prefrontal cortex shrinks when you embrace the comfort zone. It enlarges when you take on challenges. Difficult tasks, when you take on difficult tasks, you're enlarging your prefrontal cortex. And I'll show you different ways you can do so. I'll show you 10 ways you can take on difficult tasks. So let me show you this. The brain of obese people were scanned. Obese people that could not take difficult decisions like abstain from food. And guess what? Their prefrontal cortex was really small. Really small. Really small. So when you don't do difficult tasks, or when you embrace the comfort zone, you avoid taking on challenges, guess what you're doing? You are shrinking your prefrontal cortex. And then the brains of athletes who were growing and building up themselves were scanned. You find out that their prefrontal cortex was enlarged. Prefrontal cortex was enlarged. So when you see people who are not doing so well and you scan their prefrontal cortex, you see that their prefrontal cortex is small. When you see people who are doing very well in career, life, business, ministry and all that, you scan their prefrontal cortex, you see that their prefrontal cortex is large. What's the difference? The people who are doing well are embracing challenges. They are embracing pain. They are embracing obstacles into opportunities. The people who have tiny prefrontal cortexes, who are not doing so well in life, they are running away from pain and running away from challenges. So you see the difference. That's the second thing you can do and increase your prefrontal cortex. Now, what are the 10 things you can do to strengthen your prefrontal cortex? Fasting is by no means easy. You can fast your way to strengthen your prefrontal cortex. Exercise, especially high intensity interval training. You can do cold showers. You can do critical thinking, playing tough games, competing with tough people that are tougher than you, You can take on difficult tasks at your place of work and do it. You can do deep work. That's the sixth one. Deep work. You can do serious memorization. Try to memorize tasks and try to recall it. You are strengthening your prefrontal cortex by doing so. Don't forget, it's also the learning center of the brain. You can read voraciously. Give yourself a reading target and read voraciously. 9, you can also do deep research that compels you to do a lot of critical thinking. Then you can also do tasks that you are afraid of or you would normally run away from. Let's say you don't like to tidy up your kitchen in the evening because you're tired. You can just say, okay, I'll tidy up my kitchen for 5 minutes alone. 5 minutes. That task alone, that you're doing something, will activate your prefrontal cortex. So those are 10 things you can do. 10 things you can do. Or you can forgive people who have hurt you. Even if you don't feel like doing it, it's difficult. You can do that to also activate your prefrontal cortex. Buy a gift for them, write a note to them, send a message, do something like that. It will also activate your prefrontal cortex. All right. I hope this works well for you as you strengthen the most important part of your body, your prefrontal cortex. God bless you. Do have an amazing day and bye for now. Hi there. I'm Adekomi Olusonya, publisher of the Immersion Bible, and I will get you addicted to the Word of God. Line upon line, precept upon precept. If you want access to any of my books, products, training or coaching services, scan the link right here. And Kemi sends her love. Do have an amazing day and bye for now.